Hey, what's up, beautiful people? It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we have this very interesting video, and it's about Nana Akua, and she here is talking about BLM organizer, that is the UK BLM organizer, fundraiser, fraud, and how she's experienced more racism from black people and all. And yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. Let's check it out.
A woman who was involved in the Black Lives Matter protest that led to Edward Colston's statue being thrown into Bristol Harbour has pleaded guilty to fraud after £30,000 mysteriously went missing.
Wow.
Zahra Salim admitted one count of fraud by abuse of position. She set up a GoFundMe page in 2020 before the Colston protest. Now, any money left over was due to be given to a charity, but none of the money is alleged to have been handed over. Fascinating. Joining me now is GB News presenter Nana Akua. Nana, great to have you on the show. Thank you very, very much. I mean, what do you make of this?
Well, to be honest with you, Patrick, I'm not even slightly surprised at all of this. If you look at the sort of background of Black Lives Matter, because she was kind of working in their name, Patrisse Cullors, she was one of the founding members of Black Lives Matter in the States. And of course, there was huge question over what happened to a lot of the money that she acquired from Black Lives Matter. I think they made about 90 million in terms of dollars there, just literally capitalizing on white guilt, which is what they called it themselves.
Yeah.
So it really is no surprise that this woman, Zahra Salim, I think her name's, I think that's how you said, she's 23. Apparently it was about £30,000 that she had got on a GoFundMe page. It was meant for masks and things like that for people at the demonstration. What was left was meant to go to a charity called Your Mindset, and in the end, of course, that money didn't go to the charity. And it's quite sad because near the end, as you read through the article, it seems as though that charity was of young people who, many of whom aren't here anymore. So it sounds like that was and it was to take them to Africa. So, you know, this comes as no great surprise. And I hear it a lot. And these are people who are capitalizing on a form of white guilt, really, making a lot of people feel guilty and cadging on the back of something, toppling that statue. Of course, very posh names of people who toppled the statue. They didn't face any criminal charges, which I find astonishing. But it's in her interests, especially in a lot of black people's interests, some of them supporting Black Lives Matter, to keep this victimhood narrative going because there's money in it.
Yeah.
There's money in being a victim. I mean, Harry and Meghan have showed you that if there's anything to be seen. But that's why a lot of them wouldn't like someone like me who calls it out and says, look, Black Lives Matter, the name itself is divisive.
Yes.
The movement is divisive. And in the end, guess what? Turns out that some of the organisers there are embroiled in what will appear to be fraud. It is no surprise at all, Patrick.
No, exactly. And what do you make of the way that she turned up to court? I think we've got a picture for people listening on radio. I'll talk you through it. It doesn't take me too long to talk you through it, basically. She's wearing a burqa, so there you go, with glasses on as well. I mean, what do you make of that? And a heavy raincoat. I mean, is there something of the coward about that, do you think?
Well, there is something. I mean, listen, she may say she's Muslim, which perhaps she is, and that's why she's wearing the burqa and the glasses. Fair enough, but she's hiding her face, which doesn't say much. We've got pictures of her anyway, so it's not going to do anything for her cause. But this is what discredits these kind of movements. They're supposedly Marxists. Marxists are supposed to be sharing out. Patrisse Cullors, turns out she bought about 5 different properties, gave money to her brother or whoever it was that was in the organisation.
Wow.
Others within the organisation actually criticised her for capitalising on the whole issue of racism. And to me, it's just yet another ridiculous phenomenon, Black Lives Matter. And, well, I couldn't stand it at the start, and I was right. It's just to me, it's just a fraudulent organisation. That's my view.
It is.
And just tell me a little bit, Nana. You mentioned there about how you would not particularly, your views would not be viewed particularly favourably, potentially, amongst the, I'm generalising here, but wider black community, or BLM supporting black community, I suppose. Why is that?
Well, because I've called it out, haven't I? I've looked at it and said, look, there's very little that a black person can't do that a white person can do. In fact, I can't think of anything. And a lot of these movements are actually, to me, they're quite backward movements, because
Yes.
you're asking to go back to almost a form of apartheid where you're separating people based on the colour of their skin, and then you're privileging or not privileging. And I think it's divisive, because it's upsetting for a lot of white people who will see that and don't see it this way.
Yes.
And it's divisive for people who aren't of the race that you're saying the life matters. And for me, seeing that, I'll be honest, I face more racism from black people than I ever have from any white people, and just simply for calling a lot of this out. I find it incredible that would be the case, but that is the bottom line in my experience, that some of the most racist people towards me have been people of colour, because they're not happy with me because I'm supposedly a traitor for daring to say that this particular behaviour is unacceptable. And I'm quite tired of seeing it, really. People need to stop calling things out in terms of colour, try to stop seeing colour in individuals and look at what they're doing.
Thank you.
And using an organisation like Black Lives Matter to cover over when you're doing something bad and illegal, so fraudulent, is just quite typical, really, of this sort of thing, to be honest. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, great. Thank you very much. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you on the show as well, of course. There's Nana Akua there. It's GB News presenter, fan favourite, absolute fan favourite.
Now, we heard it from Nana Akua herself. Interesting, because, listen, when it happened in the US, people were like, or because he's involved a black person, now everybody wants to cover that, and they want to humiliate or put the black person down and the likes and all. Now it's happened in the UK because, of course, their founder, their leader, stole money. So, of course, the branches, they will continue on. Look at this one, £30,000 to buy phone, to pimp herself. Of course. Look at how they are destroying things, and they are telling you that what they are doing, their mission is to do what? To help black people? Is that the narrative that they are painting to people, to tell you that, oh, they are fighting for your skin color? So you want to tell me what people who went to war to do these things, to bring the togetherness and everything, their effort went in vain? Is that what you're telling me? This is crazy. It's crazy. And people who support this mission and think this is okay, something must be really wrong upstairs. Because these people, they are no different than violent groups of people. And look at it. She's stolen money. And of course, the minute you don't support their mission, they begin to hate on you. They call you names. They do all sorts of things to you. And they're telling you that, or they are saying that, okay, they are for the greater good of their people that look like them. But the minute the people that look like them don't support them, then they begin to behave in a different light. So how are you any different? It's crazy. But of course, people will still not learn. And honestly, I don't feel pity for the people who contributed to this mission, or whose money she spent on herself, or to pimp herself and the likes and all. Because you people supported this now, and that's your agenda, that's your mission. So it will continue, it will go. But it's really, really sad that these are the things that happens, and this type of behavior is what we want to be condoning, especially now in the 21st century, because it seems like this kind of behavior is becoming more acceptable. And society is deeming it okay just because you have a certain skin color, or people will tell you, oh, you're limited because you have a certain skin color, or somebody hates you. And also what they do with the white guilt, they make white people hate on themselves or make them feel guilty because they have attained a certain life, or they have something better going for them. It is not their fault. It is not their fault that they worked so hard, or their parents worked so hard to give them better lives. It is not anybody's fault. And the crazy mentality has to stop. It has to. And honestly, anybody that thinks this movement is for the greater good or for the better to help them, I really feel sad, and I really feel sorry for you, because you don't even know what you're supporting. You don't know what you're doing, because all these are criminal activities and criminal behaviors. Of course, like their leader, what is their leader's intent? The same way. So the followers would follow this exact same route. But it's a good thing that this is coming out so that people will learn, just in case people have not learned from the one that happened in the US. People will learn from the UK own. But again, if people still do not learn from the UK own, probably another chapter will happen. Maybe people will learn. But if they still do not learn, well, they should continue. Is their money? Is it my money? It's not my money. This one is a thief. But they will support this kind of mission because they love criminal activities. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below, what your thoughts about this. I really love your honest contribution to this. You can share other useful information you think might be really helpful. And until next time, see you in the next video.